Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. You're always very welcome. You know, I was going to talk about culture shock in Thailand, but do you know what's more apt? It's just the shock of living in Thailand. The things that you'd never expect to experience, and you wouldn't know you're going to experience because you'd never expect to experience them. And I'm going to go through a few things. Things that have bugged the hell out of me and still do bug the hell out of me. But you see, living in a place like this is so wonderful. The people are wonderful, the weather is wonderful, the food is wonderful. It's a wonderful place to be. But no matter where you are, there are things that are going to bug you. And a few of them, one of the things is height restriction, not restrictions, but the height of things, okay? Basically, doorways, seats, public transport, blah 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 blah. I'll explain. I'm 183 centimeters when I wake up in the morning, and you probably say, what do you make the distinction about? What's the distinction waking up in the morning? Because when you wake up in the morning, you're a little bit taller than you are before you go to bed at night, because your vertebrae tend to compress. So you can try it yourself, measure yourself when you get out of bed, measure yourself when you're going to bed, and you'll notice millimeters or a fraction of a millimeter, I don't know what it is, but anyway, I'm 183 centimeters when I get up in the morning. And when I lived in Ireland, that didn't pose any problems, or I wasn't even aware of my stature, let's say, or my height. It would be average height in Central Europe, let's say, where the Dutch are much taller. If you've ever been to Holland, you'll know this. The Dutch are the tallest people in the world, apparently, and their bicycles are quite large, and their doorways are quite large. And in Thailand, the things that highlight the fact that Thai people are not so tall, one of them would be doorways. I have, now not all, because Bangkok is a modern city, but in traditional Thai houses, you will have to stoop on entering. Otherwise, you're going to hit your head off the crossbeam. Like I'm hitting my head off here, but this has nothing to do with anything. This is a natural feature. I'm a natural feature. And I'm standing in a natural environment, and the natural feature is poking into my head, but there's nothing we can do about that. We can cut it if we want to, but you can't necessarily cut a doorway, you know what I mean? So these are man-made structures in Thailand that you will notice are quite short in comparison to the average European, who would be, if you're 180 to 190 centimeters, you're going to find yourself banging your head in Thailand invariably. So there you go. That's the height issue. This is just coffee, by the way. Sitting down in restaurants, by and large, sitting down on in a public area, in a restaurant or wherever it may be, the seating is quite low. I was in a restaurant in Sukhumvit, I'm not going to mention exactly where. Sukhumvit's the tourist area, and I sat down and my knees were almost touching my chest, but that's an exaggeration, but that's what it felt like. I was really low, and seating in Thailand is generally low. I don't know what the average height of a Thai person is, a Thai man, or woman for that matter, but it's certainly not 180 centimeters. I had the privilege of speaking to the designer of the interior of the MRT system, that's the BTS system, that's the SkyTrain in Bangkok. I didn't speak to him in Bangkok because he was from Turkey. A Turkish company won the contract for designing the interior furnishings, let's say, of the BTS. And I asked him the question, was it you that designed the hand straps to flap in my face as I get on, because the hand straps are quite low? And he said yes, because part of the contract was that they must have the hand straps obviously accessible for the reach to the reach of the average Thai person, which is not 180 centimeters. So that's something that I noticed getting on the MRT or the BTS, more to the point. The hand straps were quite low and they tend to slap you in the face. So there you go. So hand straps, seating, doorways. One of the things that will highlight this point about shortness or being short, if you ever notice a Thai person on a bicycle, they usually cycle their bicycles on the having the saddle at the lowest setting, so it looks as if they're cycling uphill all the time. So that's one thing to notice, to note that your stature, if it's over say 180 centimeters, you're going to notice that fact. There's various other aspects of this. Getting into a taxi. Have you ever gotten into a taxi in Bangkok and had to adjust the seat before you could even begin to ease your way into the Toyota Corollas? Because that's what they are, Toyota Corollas. To ease your way in. Invariably, if I get a taxi, I have to pull up the lever on the seat and extend the seat to its furthest reaches on the rails for me to seat myself in a comfortable fashion in the taxi. Because the person who was in the taxi prior to me obviously was not of the same stature. So there you go. And these things never happen to me, or had never happened to me back home. So basically, that's one thing that you will not notice about Thailand until that's one thing that you would never be aware of about Thailand until you come here. And that is the height of things. The height of things is completely geared towards the average height, and of course it makes sense of the average Thai person, but in the more, let's say, developed tourist, I'm getting bitten by mosquitoes here, they don't discriminate on height, that's for sure. They'll bite you wherever you are, or whoever you are, or however tall you are, however short you are. But in the more fashionable parts of Bangkok, it's a lot more European and you don't have that issue with seating and doorways and things like that. But in the more traditional parts of Bangkok and indeed Thailand, it's all catering for Thai, and that's by and large the way it should be. The Dutch cater for the Dutch, they're all tall, and the Thais cater for the Thais, they're all shorter. So there you go. I'm not saying they're short, because there's a lot of Thai people now, especially the younger generation, who are soaring in height. If you look at university students, lots and lots of young Thai men, millennials let's say, are much taller than their predecessors. And I put this down to diet. Fast food was introduced, well, McDonald's opened their first restaurant, correct me if I'm wrong, 1986, and that ties in with the age group of the millennials in, well, not really, but you know what I mean, people in their 30s. They tend to be that much taller and that much fatter than their predecessors. Diet has a lot to do with it, but that's a whole different video. We can cover that in the near future. And in the very near future, I hope you haven't done this already, please do so now. Click that subscribe button, click the like button, click the share button, do all those wonderful things, and I'll bring you back another rant or vent very soon indeed. Thanks for joining me.